Hi, my name is Tony Meneses. I am the playwright of the new play, The Hombres. I guess for me, thematically, is exploring the theme of machismo. I've been very curious about that because a lot of my, all the male members of my family are Mexican men. So I've only ever seen them as like these cuddly teddy bears, but then they do present this like other side of themselves that is sort of this macho bravado spirit to that. So I was interested in exploring that just as an idea. But as far as the story, it is about a group of construction workers working outside of a yoga studio, and then one of them befriends sort of this very gentle Latino gay yoga teacher, and it's kind of about their friendship and how it evolves because of this construction worker comes to this yoga teacher with a very specific need and desire that he's hoping to have in his life and hoping to resolve for himself. So it's kind of like a tender look at male friendships, sort of the intimacy, loving male relationships that do happen that we don't get to see too often. Sort of these, I guess in queer theory, what's called homosocial relationships. So it's an exploration of that. So I sort of clocked in terms of like my playwriting history. All the plays that I've written, most of them I would say are very female heavy, and the reason for that is Mexican culture is a very matriarchal culture, so my mom has been a really big influence in my life creatively and also personally. But a lot of my friendships are women. I clock one day, like all my favorite authors are women, so I've been very comfortable in female spaces. Also, as a gay identifying man, that's sort of where I found a lot of friendships, a lot of acceptance. When I was just too afraid of showing that part of myself, my queer identity, to other men, I felt safe doing that with women. So I thought to write a play finally it's an all-male cast, which I guess prior to this play I would have never entertained doing, just because that's sort of my nightmare, being in a room full of men. But I thought, a creative challenge might be to kind of figure out why is that? Why are you afraid of being around other men? Straight men, gay men, that fear is kind of like real in me, and that vulnerability is very real. So I finally just decided to kind of look at that more closely within the prism of a play. And already just sort of in the sharing of this work, it's been kind of really rewarding to meet other men and sort of, kind of like let them in a way that I'm not used to doing, but also just sort of hear their experiences of what it's like to express affection and love with other men, whether they're gay or straight, and sort of seeing the same kind of barriers that we all experience to just sort of be a little bit more tender with each other, and sort of why we don't do that, and exploring and trying to understand why we don't. So it's been a fun theme, and it's been a fun way to kind of dive into the ideas of this play with others so far. I guess primarily just in terms of the conversations of representation, which are always top of mind. I'm Latino identifying. The worlds that I write are that as well. So it's just showing sort of brown bodies in a way that we're not used to seeing, and obviously hopefully in ways that are breaking open stereotypes or sort of reductive ways of showing those types of characters. I think we kind of know the bad versions of that do exist in pop culture, whether theater or TV or film. So for one thing, I just hope the audience gets to see this group of Latino men in a way that they've never seen before, in a way that shows them as these tender, gentle kind of teddy bears too, that struggle to, express that, but that is there, that layer is there. I think when we see, unfortunately, Latino men, I would say probably more so in like TV and film spaces, they're like the toughsters, either they're, in a life of crime, cartel or gangs, or, they're just, I feel like it's just those are the only two images that I'm used to seeing in terms of when these actors get to play these types of roles. So I hope it's just like a gift to see these types of characters in a way that they've never seen before. And obviously, the specificity of their lives is ultimately also universal. So I hope they get to see themselves in these Latino men, but also these immigrant men too, that, trying to bridge a lot of these barriers that we think that separate us, or that we think that we don't have in common with other people, especially when they're of different communities, they're different identities, trying to show some links. Those links exist. Those differences do exist too. We want to honor that. But I think ultimately sort of the humanity of these men, I hope, shines through more than anything.